Welcome to the Best Wedding App podcast.
Swipe to the left, swipe to the right. The best wedding app brings your dreams to life.
The Best Wedding App.
On today's show, we have Marianna. Now, she's not just a jeweler, she's a storyteller who crafts dreams in gold and silver. Her work has captured the hearts of so many, and she's known for blending traditional craftsmanship with a touch of contemporary brilliance. Her work has become synonymous with elegance, with authenticity, and with creativity. Welcome to the show, Marianna.
Paris, thank you so much for having me on the podcast. I'm so honored to be here. Actually, I just wanted to say that the first moment that I saw the Best Wedding App online, I think it was on Instagram. It was a love at first sight sort of situation. I knew it was a winner. Such a fantastic concept, because I remember when I was planning my own wedding and having to fill in all the different contact forms for every single vendor just to find out if they're available. It was just so much work. So, you know, I wish you would have been around when we were getting married, but just such a good idea, and I just love it. So thank you so much for having us on here.
Thank you. Well, thank you for trusting us with your brand, because you were one of the first people to hop on board. So we feel really honored, especially to have such a beautiful business like yours, which really is so important, because let's face it, you don't get engaged without a ring. Well, not many people do. So you have quite a unique type of gem that you work with. Can you tell us all about this particular beautiful brilliance?
Yes, so we work with moissanite. I mean, we do also work with, sapphire and ruby as sort of little side stones, but we exclusively work with moissanite as opposed to diamonds.
And what is moissanite? Educate the uneducated.
So moissanite it is a diamond alternative gem. It is, white in color like a diamond, like it's sort of transparent. And it was discovered by a guy called Henry Moisen in a meteor crater. So that's where it's naturally formed. And it's so rare that it can't actually be mined. Yeah.
So what does that mean? It's lab created?
Yes. So for jewelry making and also industrial applications, it is made purely in a lab. So it's a fantastic qualities. It's second to diamonds only in its hardness, but not by much. So diamonds are a 10 on the Mohs scale of hardness. Moissanite is 9.25.
Okay.
But in every other aspect, in luster and basically all the things that you care about, it actually outshines diamonds. So
Wow.
yeah, I love it.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's I love it. I came across it when I was looking for my own engagement ring.
Okay.
My now husband, so lovely. He took us into a few stores because he wanted to get a gauge of what sort of rings I like. They put some diamond rings on my hand, and I was casually like, "Oh, how much is this?" And they're like, 30,000. I was like, "Please get it off my hand." So I kind of couldn't. Yeah.
So moissanite is less expensive.
It is much less expensive. It can be, 10 or more times less expensive, but you get a much higher graded stone for your money as well.
Wow. So this is interesting, and I love that we can have a gem that's less expensive than diamonds, because not all of us have a budget for diamonds. Can you talk to me about the different type of metals that you use?
Yes, absolutely. So we use gold and platinum.
Okay.
Those are the two main ones. And in particular, we use 18 karat gold and platinum 950. So, okay, so the reason we use 18 karat gold is it's 75% pure gold. And the purer you go, the softer it is. So it's less durable for wear. But then, the less pure you go, the less gold you have. So you might see in shops, 9 karat gold. That's only 37.5% gold. Less than half. 14 karat gold is 58.3% gold, which is, pretty good. At least it's more than half. But yeah, we like 18 carats, sort of a kind of like a nice premium aspect to it. But still durable and very good, you know.
Wow. And are there any like pros and cons to these different types of metals?
Yeah, so I mean, there are a few. So white gold is not actually naturally white. It's dipped in rhodium.
Oh,
Yeah, so that means that over time you will sort of need to go and get it redipped.
okay.
And, you know, in addition to the money of going to get that done, it is the energy of an additional task, which probably I don't recommend for sort of time poor people. But platinum doesn't require redipping, but it does cost more. And platinum 950 is called that because platinum, to be called platinum, it's going to be 95% or more platinum. It's not quite the
Wow.
same. Yeah.
I wish I knew this because I actually my wedding ring and engagement rings are white gold and ever so annoying because yes, I have to have them redipped. I also lost my gem out of my ring. However, I found it.
Oh my God, where did you find it?
I banged my hand really hard against the wall and it flew out. And
Yeah.
as soon as I banged my hand, I thought, crap, I'm pretty certain I banged my ring finger. I looked down, the diamond was gone. And I was like, well, it has to be here. And so I got down on all fours and found it. Amazing. But it was not a cheap experience putting that diamond back into my ring, let me tell you.
Yeah, that's I'm so sorry that happened to you. That's so
I
stressful.
think I could have bought a whole nother ring because then I had to have it redipped. I think it cost me about $750 to have it reset and
Wow.
redipped. Yeah, wasn't
Wow.
cheap. Wasn't cheap. But look, what do? At least I found it and I didn't have to go through some crazy insurance claim or something. Can
Yeah.
you tell me what do you think about couples matching their wedding rings in terms of style and metal? Like, do you think this is important? I mean, obviously, sometimes, and this happened to me, I wanted a really particular style of engagement ring. But then it was really hard to match the bands. And this must happen to a lot of people. They kind of get an engagement ring, go, whoa, love this. And then they go, oh gosh, what am I going to have now?
Oh yeah, this happens so often. So yeah, it's so common. I mean, people, you can match it, you can contrast it. Our advice is generally, as long as the two rings sort of sit together, nobody will think about whether or not you did it on purpose. You know, if you wear it, if you love it, people will know that that's how you love it, and that's so whatever you like, you can do it. Our advice is actually, I don't want to plug in this part too much, but we do sell wedding ring sets where you choose your engagement and wedding ring together.
Okay.
And they already sit flush, and that decision's already been made in that sense. So that's one way to go around. You can buy a set to begin
Yeah,
with.
that's great.
Or if you pick your engagement ring style, if you're particular like you were, if you try when you're trying that ring on, if you go and sort of try on different styles to see which one suits you. There is also the option of making a custom band, but we always recommend going to the original jeweler who did your engagement ring, just because they have all the design details to make sure that it sits as close together to the engagement ring as possible.
Sure. Yeah. Oh my God, such good advice because I'm sure that must happen all the time. But great for people to know that they can buy a set. Oh, get it done with.
It's true. You tick off, an extra item off the list.
Yeah, totally. Do you also do male rings or are you just female?
Oh no, we do male rings as well. We have done less of them than female ones, but we do male ones as well. We've like some memorable ones, like a really deliciously heavy platinum male wedding band that's available for sale. It's called Mark. And then we had a slightly more intricate one, like a signet style band for this amazing Persian customer. So it's very fancy. It has like a gemstone on it.
Oh,
It's flat signet, and that one is on our site too. It's called Sean. Yeah.
we have one called Jeremy next.
Hey, if I do a custom design for Jeremy, then there will be.
I married a couple recently and he had diamonds all over his ring and I was like, mate, this is awesome. And he was like, go big or go home. He's like, I'm only gonna get a ring once. He's like, Yeah, I wanted diamonds too. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. I love that you can have all sorts of different things and be individual in what you choose, for sure.
Yeah, so that diamond one sounds amazing, actually.
Oh, was beautiful. And he wasn't a tradie, so he could keep it on all the time, which, you know, is hard for some couples. You know, some people literally, it's dangerous to wear a ring to work. So yeah. Now, one thing that I did not know a lot about when I was looking for rings was our 4 C's: cut, color, clarity, and carat. Can you please educate us about this?
Yes, of course. These are, super, super relevant when shopping for diamonds. Although, unfortunately, because of the costs associated with diamonds, usually it means sacrificing one of the C's for another. But
Yeah.
that's why I guess people learn about the 4 C's. But effectively, carats are, the size of the stone. Do you mind if I do, comparison side by side of moissanite and diamonds, just so that there's both?
Do it. Yeah, for sure.
Right, excellent. Well, so carats, diamonds are measured in carats, and that's a standard known sort of measurement in the industry for the weight of the stone.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm a 4 carat only girl. Just kidding.
hey, I don't blame you. It's a good size.
Got like 0.2 of a carat. I don't know. If I had my time again, it would be bigger.
Upgrade. There's always upgrades. There's always
Yeah,
anniversaries.
that's true. That's true. That's true.
Carat size. That's a carat weight of the diamonds. Then moissanite, it is actually carat weight equivalent or diamond equivalent weight, because moissanite weighs 15% less than diamonds. But to be able to compare the two as equal sort of products, that's what the industry calls them. It's like an equivalent
Okay.
number, equivalent to carats. Now, color. The way that works is it's an alphabet sort of letters starting from D, which is colorless. And the closer you get to sort of the Z end of the alphabet, the more of a yellowy brown color the stone is, as opposed to being
Okay.
the beautiful, transparent, sort of clear color.
Sure.
With moissanite, being lab grown and in a controlled environment, there's the color grades, because D, E, and F on that scale are colorless, and then G, H, and I are near colorless. So it's D, E, F is the colorless option, and G, H, I is near colorless. Our stones are colorless. Though we would do a GHI or near colorless as a special request. So, when you look at sort of your big box retailers of diamonds, a lot of the time you will see like eye color. That's great. That is near colorless, but the lower down that scale you go, the less expensive the diamond should be.
Okay. Interesting.
With the cut, that is, how well has the cut been performed on the actual gemstone. So that's, the actual cutting of it, the polishing, and the symmetry of the stone. And
Sure.
how and that's important, because that determines sort of how that stone reflects the light.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
And that's the same, for moissanite as well. Our stones are cut by hand. So many lab grown stones are cut by machines, and that is actually still less precise than cutting them by hand.
Okay.
And that's true for diamonds as well, actually, including laboratory created diamonds.
Okay. Interesting.
And then in terms of the clarity, that is a grade of whether the stones have any imperfections under 10 times magnification. So, but there are some grades that have some visible inclusions to the naked eye. And again, not to plug ourselves, but our stones being lab grown are at the very least, what's called VVS1, very, very slightly included in clarity. Oftentimes they are IF, or internally flawless, but we still price them as VVS1.
Now, how long does it take to grow one of these in the lab?
Oh, months, but they grow them in batches, and yeah, it's months. It's like they try to replicate the process of stones being created in
the
nature.
environment. Yeah. Well, and that's years and years and years and years. So
yes, so they heat them up, and all sorts of things happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is a bit morbid, but I I had no idea that you can actually turn ashes into gems too.
Oh yes, yes, that is I too feel like it's a little bit morbid.
See, I'm not sure I would be wearing that jewelry around, but I really had no concept that that was something that you could do because of the carbon in the ashes can then be created. Look at me go.
Yeah, you know a lot. I love it.
Funny. But when I learned that, I was like, wow, this is cool and spooky at the same time. Not for me, but I'm sure somebody out there would absolutely love to be wearing their mum around. Crazy.
Yeah, I think it's quite popular. But yeah, I too find it a little bit spooky.
Yeah, it's not something that I would want. But hey, there's something for everybody out there.
Yeah.
Now, this is something that I had a real problem with because my knuckles are bigger than the bottom of my finger. Sizing rings can be hard. What are your tips on this? How do you gauge what's a safe ring size that's not going to fall off? Because yeah, it's tricky for some people.
Oh, you know what? That's so true. Actually, that's the same for my husband. He has very big knuckles, and you know, he's like, do they swell? I'm not sure if they swell too much in summer because we're looking in around winter. It's as long as it can't come off the knuckle, that's the most important. You can comfortably get it on and off. That's sort of the most important thing because you don't want to lose your ring, but you don't want it to be too tight either. So really look at that knuckle,
Yeah.
how it goes up and down it.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of getting it sized, I'd say definitely go and try some rings on. We also send out a free ring sizer to anyone. We have a form that people can fill in. And a couple of things to consider are, you know, the width of the actual ring that you're going to have and the total set, because, you know, the wider it is, the tighter it can sort of feel.
Sure.
And then, of course, climate. In Sydney, yeah, summers are very hot, and you know, if your fingers swell up and your fit is already quite tight, you can't, without resizing it, you can't make your ring bigger, but you can make it smaller with a, you know, $2-3 ring adjuster off eBay.
Right. Gosh, fancy.
Yeah, it's just a little. It's like a little roll that you can just put it underneath your ring, and you don't really feel it, but you can make it smaller. So, I have one of those for one of my rings from years ago, from when my hands were swollen, and it works beautifully.
Wow. Now, something that people often overlook, or maybe they don't even realize, is that you can tie your wedding ring into your insurance. So if something should happen, which is exactly what I did. So had I have lost that gem, I could have then gone, of course, I'd have to pay my deductible of $500 or whatever it is. But then I know that that is covered. Do you think people should do this?
Yes, I do. There is also specific insurance for engagement rings and jewelry. Thankfully, generally, I'd say it's not as complex as your other insurances.
Yeah.
It's not a 20-page form for that. We definitely encourage everyone to insure their rings to protect their investment because, you know, you could be doing the right thing and still something could happen. Insurance tends to cover for things like loss or theft and damage. And, you know, I think as long as you're not banging your ring with a hammer, which I don't think most people do, you're just living a normal life, and such an expensive thing. I definitely would recommend insuring.
Yeah. And especially since it doesn't, like, I know you say you should be able to comfortably take it off and on and off. I can't do that because I have actually soldered my rings together because my engagement ring was too heavy. It kept falling in. And when is this true? When you solder them together, they become smaller because jeepers, they feel so tight now.
Yes, that can happen. Absolutely. Because it's thicker as well. And because of the way that the soldering is done. Yeah, I mean, but lucky yours is white gold, because at least it's durable. So
yeah. The things you don't know, right? And that's what this podcast is great for, is education, because I didn't know anything about rings. I just, rocked up, had a look, and then went, I like that. you know, so sometimes, and I think that's probably the norm for people, right? Most people are probably not educated on this until they get to meet you and can talk through the process. How far in advance do you think the couple should be looking for their rings? Like, what is your time frame on a ring if someone says, I want this ring?
Sure. So if they know what they already want and something that we have on our site, I would say to be safe and to make sure that they're happy with what they receive, 2 to 3 months is safe because our rings are made to order.
Mhm.
We like doing it that way so that, if they do need to resize it, for ones where it is resizable, so there's, time and so that it's not been resized previously.
Mhm.
If it's a custom order though, that can take, a solid amount of back and forth just to make sure that the design is perfect. And
Okay.
I'd say, definitely, definitely leave some time for that. We've had ones go as far as like, because if you think about it, like when you're planning a wedding, you've got all these other vendors and things. The ring is just one of the things. So
Mm.
if they're going through like, hopefully with your app, not need to do this, but if they're going through 50 emails trying to plan everything out, getting to the design of the ring and what they like or don't like might not be, the first thing on their mind amongst
Yeah.
trying to secure everything else. So it can take a few months. So, but yeah, just actually making the ring, I'd say, yeah, a couple of months is safe. 4 to 6
Now,
weeks is our minimum, but
I know that you've got a beautiful website. Do you also have a shop front, or is
I know
everything done via the website?
everything is done via the website. We are online. It was a deliberate choice to try and keep the costs to be more accessible.
Right. I think that's so important for people to know, right? Because Marianna had a shop front. She's obviously got the shop front, the power, the shop front keepings of what the rings are in, the insurance, etc. Then it means her rings have to become more expensive because she has all of that infrastructure behind her. So great choice by you. I love this.
Thank you.
What happens if someone says to you, I want to try it on? What happens then?
Well, we do have, I guess you could say, an at-home trial. We have some sample rings that we can send out.
Okay, cool.
So actually, I really need to update our site with that.
And is that like a registered? It's got to be a registered post thing, right? Because you can't
Yes,
just be
yes.
mailing a diamond ring and the.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's yeah, definitely by usually express.
Yes, for sure.
Yes.
Cool.
So
This is good to know.
for like a deposit, because can't do it just for free, but we'll give it back or we'll give the deposit back once we receive the ring.
Sure.
Or we will if the customer chooses to buy a ring, we'll just put it towards their cost of the ring.
Yeah, and that's good to know too, right? Because it shouldn't be free. It's just like wedding dresses. I actually didn't know this until I did a podcast with Jack Moore recently. If you go to a wedding dress shop and you try on a wedding dress or wedding dresses, they charge you a fee. And I was like, really? And she's like, yes, but it totally makes sense because then they've got to dry clean the dresses. They've got to, do all of these things. And I was like, of course they do. They can't just have hundreds of people trying on the same dresses without dry cleaning them. Makes total sense. So yes, people need to be educated on this is a service that you offer, but of course, it's going to cost you money to send it out in the post, etc., insurance, blah, blah, blah. There's always costs behind things for sure. Now, how do we care for our rings? Because I don't do any caring. Whoopsies.
Oh, no, that's okay. I mean, it's so common. So, I mean, to be honest, this is, I mean, still actually does my head in a little bit thinking about it. But the thing is, if you just take your ring, take a little bit of dishwashing liquid. First you soak the ring in just a little bowl with hot water and the dishwashing liquid. And then if you take a super, super soft little toothbrush, like a baby toothbrush, it's so super soft, and very, very, very gently, whatever's been loosened by the soaking, remove it.
Okay.
That is always, I don't know why, it's just freaked me out. That's what I do. Sometimes I make my husband do it. It works. It does work. So that's your at-home instance.
For some reason, I was thinking bicarb soda and water. Is this bad?
I have never used bicarb soda.
I feel like bicarb soda is like the go-to for everything. You need your teeth whitened quickly, bicarb soda.
That's true. Yeah, I just wonder if it shouldn't be too abrasive. I don't think. Not on these
Well,
methods,
don't
but
listen to my advice, Marianna's, because I don't know anything.
I think dishwashing liquid is very, very gentle.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so that's why that's the safest sort of option. But um, if you do that sort of from time to time, and then if you do get it professionally cleaned, once a year or something, once every couple of years, if you can't be bothered to do it once a year, um, and basically just if you're gonna just avoid putting moisturizer on with it or lotions, doing harsh cleaning or gardening or rock climbing with it.
I think I do all of the above. No wonder my gem fell out.
No, that's okay. I mean, we had actually one of my customers. She got her ring and she was she's so happy. Her cat went like and battered it off a tall wall in the like on the shower, and it fell to the ground. And she was like, "What do I do? What do I do?" I was like, "It's okay. Take a deep breath. Is the stone still there?" She's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Okay. Is it still attached within the prongs, or does it look like it's a little bit loose?" And she's like, "I think it might be a bit loose." I'm like, "Okay, we're gonna need to get it tightened because otherwise it might fall out." But the cat, it jumped up into the rail and it smacked it off the shower wall.
What are the chances?
Yeah, the chance, and that's the thing. She was doing the right thing. She took it off to have a shower. Sometimes if you
Oh
do
my
all the
God.
things, and yeah,
Well, this is it, right? Anything can happen in life. You just never
anything.
know. You try to do the right thing and something something like that can happen.
Yeah,
Now you do have the most beautiful website, which I'm going to link in the podcast show notes.
thank you.
But have you got any new collections or new designs or something exciting up your sleeve?
Oh yes. So actually, we have just recently released some pretty intricate wedding ring designs. I'm very excited about our Catalina ring. It's dual tone. It's got milligrain detailing, and it's a very, very intricate actual wedding ring.
Beautiful.
It's yeah, you can have it, rose gold and white gold, yellow gold and white gold. It's got little stones on the sides, got peekaboo stones, it's got everything basically. Very excited about it.
Beautiful.
I'm kind of tempted to upgrade my own ring to it.
Who designs these? Do you design them or does
Yeah, I design like a good portion of them. I would
wow.
say because there's with rings, right? There's so many classical designs already out there.
Yeah.
And you can modify existing designs, and I think we just get to a point where we've modified so many, it all start looking a bit the same.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
yeah, but yeah, I think the more intricate we go, the more excited we get.
So you must be able to draw quite well then.
Um, I don't know. I don't think I'm that good. I'm okay.
But is that how you do it? You sketch it up and then you send it to the jeweler who creates it? Or do you sit down with the jeweler and say, this is what I want, let's work it through?
So there's well, I do there's a slight hand drawing aspect. Then there's a CAD design aspect as well, so on the computer.
Okay.
But then and then I have to put pretty precise measurements into my CAD software, and then with the actual person who makes it, I just make sure that because they have their own CAD software that they interpret my CAD the way that I intended it for it to be interpreted.
Wow. So there's so much behind the scenes. And no,
Oh,
this is what makes these podcasts invaluable because people don't understand the time and the effort and the process behind a ring. They look at it and go beautiful, and then they look at the price and go, okay, that's out of my price range, that's in my price range, but nobody has the knowledge of what goes on behind the scenes for that to come to life. So my God, thank you for educating us on all things beautiful and shiny.
no, thank you so much for having me on. I should say, thank you so
Yeah.
much for having me on. It's been so lovely chatting to you. You're so lovely, and seriously, I cannot wait for the explosion of the best wedding app. It's going to take over the world.
Oh, you're so kind.
That's true.
Yeah, look, it's very exciting. It's been a lot of hard work, but it's very exciting. So yeah, we just love the concept, and we're glad that people do too. It's awesome. So for everybody out there, I'm gonna link to Marianna's page on the Best Wedding app, as well as her Instagram, as well as her own website. And we're going to do a real cool collab. So stay tuned, friends. And thanks again for your time, Marianna. We so appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Karis. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for listening. Friends, if you like what you've just heard, please like and share our podcast. We would absolutely love that. And of course, if you're planning your wedding, head to the Google Play Store or the App Store and download the Best Wedding app to plan your best day.